On this episode of China Digger, I want to do a quick comparison on the two machines that I have. So I have a Rippa diesel machine with a Kubota in it, and I have a China coal machine with a Briggs and Stratton gas. When I was shopping for machines, I was having a very hard time deciding which one to go with and which manufacturer to go with. So I decided to buy both. That way if something went wrong with one, I had the other one, and this way I can test them out, see which one I like better, and sell the one that I don't like as well. So here they are, right here, side by side. We have the Rippa and we have the China coal. They are pretty dang similar. So as you can see, booms almost exactly the same length. This one has a quick coupler on it, maybe makes it a smidge longer, but these booms, they are so similar. The only thing really different that I see on them is that the pin assembly is a little different. So the Rippa has pins that sit in, and some of them have grease zerks on them, which is fabulous. The China coal has bolt heads that sit in there, and they have like the needle point grease zerks. The little minor differences, other things, the blades are different. The China coal has what seems to be a way better blade. It's belt up, it's 2 layers, it's much thicker. The Rippa machine blade is just one piece of flat steel. Now, it may turn out to be stronger because this might be thicker than this is, because you can't tell how thick this is. Now, there are a couple areas in the boom where the Rippa definitely gives me a little more steel. Let me show you those. So if we compare this to this is just a flat plate, and this one has like the strengthening rib on the back of it. This piece is solid. On this one, it's hollow. The boom plate here, 2 plates, little bars welded in between. This one, 2 plates and a flat piece of steel welded in between. All right, onto the hoses. They both have the same kind of hose system. They don't have hard lines, they have soft lines. Easier to break, but easier to fix. They both do not have a bracket that's big enough for their extra lines for the auxiliaries, so they're zip tied on the outside. Same story on the China coal. But one difference on the hydraulic lines is this cylinder right here. These lines on this one, on the Rippa, are on top of the boom, are on top of the cylinder. But on the China coal, they are underneath the cylinder. That just seems like more potential for trouble for them to get messed up. All right, moving on to the undercarriage. The undercarriages look almost the same, different color paint, but almost the same. They both have this strange assembly, which I've showed you before, that has this extra bar at the bottom, just a strengthening bar. Seems like a nuisance, but I think it's probably good because it is helping protect things from going up under this machine and hitting the drive motors on the back, which are exposed. Let me take you around the back and let's look at those drive motors. Both machines have exposed drive motors under the back. This is the China coal. This is the Rippa. And just let's do a quick comparison while I'm right here on the tread sizes. So this one has a 7-inch tread, and this one has a 7-inch tread. How about the footprint? Here we go. The footprint width on this is just over 3 foot. The footprint width on this is 3 feet. So that has like the Rippa machine has what, an inch maybe more on the China coal, really the same. So when it comes right down to it, these machines are really alike. The Rippa machine claimed it was bigger. They called it a 1.8, and China, I think, called theirs a 1.2. Now, they're both the same size, and I knew that when I bought them. In fact, China Coal clued me into the fact that Rippa sometimes said their machines were bigger. And that's just par for the course. So it goes, different descriptors, whatever, different item numbers. You got to look at the actual weights on things to compare them. And the weight on these is almost the same. It's a little different because the motors are different. But really, the booms, the drive tracks, the number of rollers, it's almost exact on these machines. It's just a little tiny nuances, but overall the same working machine. Now, the big difference in these machines is how they're being powered. So, this one has a Kubota, and this one has the Briggs and Stratton. Now, both of these companies make a Kubota and a Briggs and Stratton model interchangeably. So I could have went either way back and forth with these two. So essentially, China Coal was giving me a better price for the gas one than Rippa was giving me for their gas one, and Rippa gave me a better price on the Kubota one than the China Coal was going to give me on their Kubota one. So that's how I ended up with the two different brands. So the Briggs and Stratton motor, just a gas motor with a pump, super simple on the gas motor, and that was kind of appealing to me because I like the idea of the Briggs and Stratton with the direct valve controls. It all seems very simple, and that means also very easy to work on. Granted, it doesn't have the pilot control, so it doesn't have a smooth operation. It doesn't have the cooling capacity, so theoretically the work time is going to be really low on the gas machine. So far my experience is about 20 minutes. Now I have a new fan in there. We're going to see if I can get a little longer run time. On the Kubota machine, the Kubota engine almost doubles the price of this machine over the Briggs and Stratton. Which is crazy, but you do get a lot of things. You get a hydraulic cooler, you get an engine cooler, and you get pilot controls that are next to your seat versus controls that are out in front of you. So this one is definitely more ergonomic to sit on. The blade control valve is right here. It is awkward and jerky. The drives on this are also awkward and jerky. The drive controls on this are much smoother. I think a lot of that is probably just the Kubota engine and pump. And the foot pedals control the thumb and the blade. So which one do I like better? Oh my God, I don't think I can answer that today. I haven't had them long enough yet. I haven't worked them hard enough yet. And to be fair, one of them cost a lot more than the other one. So the added benefits came at an added cost. So I think really either one would probably work for the user. If you're going to work longer and harder, you definitely need the Kubota style with the coolers and that kind of thing. If you're just looking for a garden machine or just a little bit of work here and there, landscape stuff, the gas machine is probably the ticket. So that's my take on that. One last thing to compare would be the buckets. The buckets that come with the machines are almost verbatim the same size. In fact, they even look like they were manufactured in the exact same way. They had just have different color paint. The teeth were mounted this way. When I got this one, I took the teeth off and I flipped them upside down. It makes it dig a lot flatter trench on the bottom. I couldn't dig a very smooth trench with the teeth sitting this way. So I did flip them over, and that did seem to help. The other little difference would be the brush rakes that came with these. So the brush rakes are very different in size. This is the Rippa rake, and that is the China coal rake. They look like they're made pretty much out of the same gauge steel with like a Schedule 40 pipe through the tines. But as you can see, one is bigger than the other. So that is what it is. So that's my quick take on the difference between these two machines. There are more differences for sure in operation, but I'll have some more videos on that. So subscribe so when those videos drop you can see them show up. And in the meantime, if you want more information on these machines, you can see them in action or learn how I imported them, then please visit my channel, specifically the China Mini Excavator in Montana playlist. And I know you've heard it before, but please subscribe so that you don't miss the new China Mini videos when they drop.